and welcome to this episode of Three Questions. I'm Greg Michlig, President and CEO at CUInsight.com, and it's great to be joined by Brit Barker, Senior Vice President of Sales at Origence. Brit, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Greg. Always a pleasure. Excited to have the conversation with you.
I'm excited as well, and I know our audience is likely very eager to hear your insights on loan origination systems and everything that's great going on at Origins. So let's jump right in.
All right, I'm ready. Fire
All
away.
right, sounds good. Now, when a CEO hears LOS conversion, it can sound like a huge, risky project. So, what mindset shift would you encourage them to make first?
It is. It's fair to think that is scary. This can be career defining for folks. So it's critical that we look at this as, hey, we're not about ripping and replacing systems, but if we could get to the mindset of this is unlocking growth and we're going to do it without disrupting what is already working. There's an opportunity here to modernize in phases, get them the speed, the experience, the visibility while managing risk. So I think it's just really, let's just anchor that, I guess, my answer to your tough question there around, hey, from fear of disruption, but into, hey, this can be a controlled transformation where we come out in a much better position than we are going in.
It's interesting, and the way you tie it into growth as well. And that's, I've been hearing a lot of that just being out in events and things like that, just talking about how credit unions can grow. So, when thinking about lending technology, what are the early warning signs that a credit union's lending tech is starting to hold back growth or member satisfaction?
So I'll give you an example of this. So I was just actually doing an audit yesterday afternoon. We had a dozen or so credit unions that went through full evaluation of the Origence LOS and chose not to move to us. And so I was curious, right? Those were last year. So I went out, I was playing on their websites to see, right, who did they move to? And interesting enough, none of them moved. And so I was looking specifically at the application process from a member experience. So, really, to your question around what's an early warning sign, is the lending tech holding them back? It's the friction in the experience. So, and that experience is really twofold, right? There's the member experience, which in my audit of these credit unions, they all have the borrow and apply now. And as soon as I hit that apply now for whatever loan type I'm curious about, then in the case of these institutions, it's still a paper form in a digital format, which is not what we're trying to do here. So that as a, potential member or someone applying for a loan, it's like, come on, you've got to show me you know me. So intense friction right at the start, that is a huge problem for the member. So that's a early warning sign is, okay, what is going on for the experience of your own members? And then Greg, what we always do, and I've been around now enough to see this, the Crayons that do a good job on that member experience, they kind of stick it to their team and that the team has to pick up the slack, so to speak. And they're doing all kinds of workarounds in order to execute on what might be a beautiful front end or beautiful experience. So, long story short, I would anchor that message really around that concept of look for the friction, acknowledge it is there. It isn't really going to be about a system failure. It's really about where in this journey does my own team members and my staff have all these workarounds. And then what happens when I actually go to apply for a loan or an account on my own site? Would I, in whatever role I have at the credit union, go, dang, my credit union is the best at this?
Yeah, trying to get to that frictionless experience is sometimes a tough thing to do, but when you're working an environment like Origins has provided, then you get there a lot more quickly. And when a credit union or a CEO at a credit union kind of wants to get those quick wins before they go into a full platform overhaul, where can they start to improve speed and experience in maybe a period of 6 to 12 months?
So the speed's a huge piece of it, Greg. We've all been conditioned to if you're waiting at the grocery store, right? It's there's two carts in front of you. You're over at the self checkout, and then there's three people in front of there, and now you're just exasperated, right? It's like I can't wait anymore. And unfortunately, all of us as consumers are conditioned to click, 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 done. And so that speed is huge. And I'll give you an example on speed. And it's really been interesting over the last several years, Greg, in the industry, whether you want to say Zest or Synaptic or Experience, Custom Scoring, whoever, right, are all bringing those additional data points so that credit unions can make a broader decision incorporating more people and get more people the loan they want, right? So you have this all this additional data, but I'll give you like over the last 12 months in our own platform, if we look at the Cuddle platform as an example, we've done about 7 million applications are coming from automotive dealers into credit unions through the Cuddle network. Now, about half of those should be approved and funded. But the reality is, Greg, somewhere around 22, 23, 24% of all those apps that came in end up being funded. But if we'll look at the credit unions, to your point about speed, that will instant decision. And if that instant decision is approved or a counter offer giving me a way to go, they fund that deal 48, 49% of the time. So you literally can double your peers if you can give that instant approval or at least an instant counteroffer providing some direction. So speed has become really the name of the game with loan decisioning.
Yeah, that's incredible, and kind of likening it to the situation where you're in the store and you're just trying to get through things quickly. It is that mindset that we've all become conditioned to, that if you can get the feedback immediately, if you can get the information immediately, that's going to just move towards greater success. And you sharing that through the platform experience and being able to provide that approval or counter offer in that timely fashion is really interesting, and that's good insight. So, Britt, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to share those insights with me. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I think I would just say, as you go about this, obviously it is a massive undertaking, but recognize the talent that is available within the organization. Look at the system you have today. Are you taking full advantage of it? But recognize again, not, yes, it can be scary. There is a fear of failure, but no, flip that into we're going to come out in a better position and recognize what is going to be the outcomes: a better member experience, reduced friction, a better staff experience, no more of these workarounds that your team is going through. You've got to come out with better system decisioning, right? That's the only reason to still stay in the game. But if we can take this experience, and Origence is one of the entities right in the industry that has been doing this for a while, and give them some best practices, is going to really end up where the credit unions that will continue to win are not going to be the ones that like, I have to have a perfect system. It's going to be the ones that are continuously improving their experience while managing risk along the way. That's going to put the credit union in the best spot in their area so that they are actually the entity. It's like, yeah, that's who I want to work with. And that's what we're here for. We want them to be the best at what they do.
Well, that sounds like great instruction for all of our listeners. And again, appreciate your time, Britt. Appreciate Origence and the partnership with CUInsight. So thank you again. And thank you to all who tuned in for this 3 questions video interview. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Greg.